Good morning, everyone. It is Monday, June 28th. I have most of my voice back, so yay. Right now, everybody else is like, oh, man. I know. Anyway, taking a look here at the futures. So the Dow's down just a little bit. The Russell 2K is down just a smidge. We are really flat here in the SPY. These are the future contracts, though. So NASDAQ a bit green. Russell a little red, Dow a little red, right? And just very, very flat across the board after, those were the weeklies, but after a really good week. So I'm glad I actually do have this weekly chart up because I want to show you something. This candle last week in the SPY futures, now this won't look the same in the SPY. And I get that question actually quite often. Why don't they look the same? Well, these are trading the futures contracts. So these contracts being traded are the SPY September 21st. You can always look up here and see which contracts you are looking at, what contracts they are trading. So these are future contracts. Just gives us like a little bit, I think, a smoother picture of what the indexes are doing. But this is the weekly candle. Look how last week's candle ended up. We moved into last week, and there was a lot of, oh my goodness, we're rolling over. I feel like people just kept saying that to me over and over. It looks like we're having a trend change. Well, that 1 week, that one candle was eaten right back up. We are at all-time highs, right? And the more we make all-time highs, so I have a very mixed feeling about the all-time highs because we're not hitting them and then running, or hitting them with a lot of exuberance, but we are hitting these all-time highs, and all-time highs are really hard to break. So we break them by just a little bit here, a little bit there. So there are these small bites that we keep taking, but the overall sentiment is we're still pushing up. So until that picture looks different, which would be more of a trend. Even if you come back here to February, we had two candles. If this one had continued down and we started, more like this, this we didn't know was going to be a bull flag. And that's pretty much what it was. This was a bull flag. We didn't know it until it completed the pattern. But that was the thought, that this might have been a trend change. But for the most part here, we are still well in an uptrend, and until that changes, I'm just not willing to short the market, short specific stocks. And by short, I mean I actually play puts on them because I do not short stocks. But that's okay. You're always going to have, in any market, you are always going to have those names that play opposite. They're going to run counter trend. They're going to have news. They're going to have earnings. They're going to have something that will allow them to do well. Certain sectors, when the market is suffering, certain sectors will do well. So these are important things to keep in mind. And as we continue to make these new highs, if you're nervous, then take your profits off a little bit sooner. Take partial profits maybe a little bit sooner, but really look at the price action. Because even in a terrible market, if you pick your charts appropriately, you follow the price action, it doesn't matter what the market's doing. It only matters what your chart is doing. So don't let all of that news and that chatter that people, oh my gosh, we're going to have inflation. Oh my gosh, we're going to have this. Oh my gosh, we're going to have that. Yeah, probably at some point, all of these things will come to pass. But if you constantly worry about what may come to pass, you're going to totally miss what's happening right here in front of you. So quit it and work on your darn charts. Okay, so let's start with some charts that we looked at Friday afternoon. So we're kind of in this pattern now. We're in the last hour. I'm looking for things that are really moving in the afternoon to see what is setting up, or maybe what would be good for a play to take for an overnight. I did not take any of those. I did enter VIAC, but we'll get into that in a few minutes. But the ones that we did see that were running, of course, Roku. Look at this darn thing. So beautiful march up. We took a day of rest. Wouldn't mind taking a few days of rest. However, we just stayed in this little this little level here, really like Roku over 432.50. Opens up here with little resistance and definitely some nice room up there to the 486 mark. So I like that. EXPE was a big one. Now the chart looks very messy in that all of our moving averages are really squished. We saw some good volume. Don't forget we had rebalancing as well on Friday, so a lot of charts are going to look a little skewed. You might go in and be like, oh my goodness, this had great volume. Well, maybe, but if it just happened in the last 15 minutes of the day, not nearly as important. But EXPE, we saw this, nice little 3-8 cross. We're coming up over these moving averages, over the point of control, and we saw an incredible amount of options flow coming through this name. So I'm keeping an eye on it, and I really like it here over the 175 mark. Kind of clears out a lot of this noise and congestion that we've had. So I am watching the 820 EXPE 175s for the move up. So if it doesn't set up today, I'll be very patient with it, but I very much like that. Run is one that we played here very recently. Nice move up to put in that stair step, moved up, pulled back with a lot of names were pulling back, so it wasn't a surprise that this one did too. Held in, beautiful little wedge sitting here, room to the 200. I really like run, and we clear out a lot of that resistance at the 56 mark. So I'm looking at it's actually the 55.70 mark area, but I'm going to go ahead and wait for the 56 mark to clear for a potential entry there. I am watching the 820 60s there in RUN. Well, looking at the solars, look at First Solar. This one had a big gap up. We held the gap, making this a bullish gap over the 200, right? So being over the 200 makes us feel a little better. I like FSLR over 87.75. In FSLR, I didn't see any options that I like right now, but I'll keep an eye on those August ones. Definitely playing out to August. We are rapidly approaching July. Don't forget, next week we have Monday off for July 4th holiday. Yay! All right, Uber. We looked at this one last week too. This came up on the over 50 scan, and look at this, using the 50 to move on, and we have this nice cavern of low resistance coming up. Nice room to about 53.86. I really like it to just at 54 here. Looking at Uber, the 820 Uber 55s. Twitter's another one that kept popping up on our charts. I got in it. I actually got stopped out of it. Several of you held it and either broke even or took a small profit, and then it just continued right on. Now is where I think it's making that next setup. We have this point of control, all of this resistance right along a fib line. We've moved up nicely. We took a little break on Friday. Watching for the continuation. I like it here over 69. So I like it over 69, watching the 820 70s. And PLTR, this one just really nice march up. Very thoughtful play here. Very orderly. I like anything over the 2650. Next step of resistance at 2712. So, those two areas, both really good ones to watch. I like the PLTR 27s there in August as well. I would take a look at FTX. Here we go. FTX for a reversal. They had their earnings, got, really smacked pretty good, but fought their way back up their candle on Friday. Nice little gap here. Lots of moving averages here, though, so we have to keep that in mind. But I like the look here for a potential reversal. You can see that UPS on Friday, it moved with FTX, but then look at this, came right back up over the, I actually like this one over 206.65 there on UPS. So take a look at those. I don't know if Joe's back this week, but if he is, we've been watching TTD. It's pretty extended here, but had to take a look in at TTD. Cost was pointed out on Friday. Look at this, putting in a nice little channel, looking for, nice march up. We took a nice little break, watching for a breakout play there. We've been watching Fubo as well. This was on the playlist a few times last week. I'm going to watch this trend line, see if we start using this for now some support. But we, move up. We took a nice little stair step and just kind of slowly marched up. Now, I don't love the wicks on some of these candles, so we'll see if this actually continues. Want some good confirmation that that is going to continue there. And is that it? Yeah, I guess I have Roku on there twice. That's kind of funny. Okay, so those are the ones I really like for today. Like I said, we are very flat going into the open after making those new highs. So be thoughtful. Friday, we will most likely see a huge drop off in volume because we're going into the long weekend. There'll be a lot of people already out for the long weekend. So keep that in mind, anything you buy. And then, of course, the following Monday, we are off. It's a 3-day weekend. So keep a watch on that. And I hope that you have an awesome day today. I will be around Wednesday. We are supposed to lose power. So I'll get the room up and working. And then it's going to be kind of hit or miss. I don't know when we will be losing that power. They weren't able to tell us that. But we will be... they're doing some work on Alabama Power is doing work. So we will be out of power at some point. And they said to prepare for being out of power from 8 to 5. So we'll see how that works out. But I will remind you again tomorrow in case Wednesday I'm not able to be on. I'll also get a watch list out on Tuesday night so that you have one ready for Wednesday. Okay, everyone, I hope you have a fantastic day. I'll make a separate video about my entry into VIAC. I hope to see you in the chat room, and I look forward to trading with you.